We've had the Pixel 9 for around a month or so now, and if you daily the Pixel 8, you might be thinking, is this worth the upgrade? Now, let's just remember that the Pixel 8 is only just a year old because Google shot first with releasing its phones this year, and now would be around about the time you'd be looking to upgrade from that last generation of Pixel. But I suppose the big question this year is there a point in doing that upgrade? On the face of it, the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 9 look pretty different from each other because Google did away with their rounded feel of the Pixel 8, and as we know by now, they went with this new boxy, more premium feeling design. And just by looking at them, I feel that the Pixel 9 looks like it's a few generations ahead rather than just the one. And if we're looking for similarities between the two in a design, then there's only one, and that is that the fingerprint magnet glossy back is still on both the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 9. The one thing we need to remember here is that Google increased the price of the Pixel 9 by $100 this year, starting it at $799 opposed to the Pixel 8 starting price of $699. And it got me thinking, why? And is it worth the upgrade? And what really is the difference between the two to justify that price increase? But there are a couple of noticeable differences that you might want to know about. The Pixel 8 is a little bit lighter when you compare it to the Pixel 9. There's Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the Pixel 9, whereas on the 8 you just have Gorilla Glass Victus. And the display is slightly bigger with the Pixel 9 this year, it's 6.3 inches, and the Pixel 8 just has 6.2 inches. They both have 120Hz as well, and the only other difference here is that the Pixel 9 will get you 2700 nits of peak brightness, whereas the Pixel 8 falls behind at 2000 nits, and really in day-to-day usage you're not going to really notice a big difference between the two here, but there is something where I have noticed a big difference, and that is in the fingerprint reader, because the Pixel 9 finally gets that ultrasonic fingerprint reader. This might not sound like the biggest upgrade, but for me it really is the biggest upgrade from the 8 to the 9, and it just makes it easier to unlock that phone. First off, you get no bright light like you get on the Pixel 8's optical reader, and overall it's just quicker and more responsive, which to me just leads to a nicer experience. So you might think from that design change and adding that ultrasonic fingerprint reader that it's kind of a no-brainer to upgrade this year, but there's a little bit more to it than that. There is a lot of similarities between the two, and the biggest similarity here is in the performance. Now you do get the Tensor G4 in the Pixel 9s, and you might be thinking, oh well, this will easily outperform the Pixel 8's Tensor G3, but it doesn't outperform it as much as you'd want it to. In terms of raw benchmarks, you can see just how close both the phones here are multi-core and single-core, and they essentially perform the same, with the Pixel 9 just very narrowly taking the win. When it comes to using these phones for these normal everyday tasks, you are really not going to see a difference here between the Tensor G3 and the Tensor G4. Even when you look at more intense tasks like gaming, you're going to get practically the exact same performance out of both the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 9. So if you're upgrading for more raw power, you're not going to get this on the Pixel 9. This is pretty similar when it comes to battery as well, and the Pixel 9 does have a slightly bigger battery at 4700 milliamp hours, compared that to the 4575 milliamp hours you get on the Pixel 8. But again, this isn't that noticeable, and the performance of these two batteries are pretty similar to each other. You can easily get to the end of the day with both of them, even if they go below that 20% mark. But when you dig into it a little more, it's still very similar here. Gaming, you would get about the same battery life between the two. Using that camera, again, is very similar. And even just for web browsing, you're going to get about the same amount of minutes from that battery. And in fact, for video playback time, the Pixel 8 actually beats the Pixel 9, and this is by a fair bit. And even if you want to charge the Pixel 8 or the Pixel 9 from 0 to 100%, you can see again that it just is very similar in the time it takes to get there. The Pixel 8 actually takes 77 minutes and the Pixel 9 takes 85 minutes, maybe just because of the change in the battery capacity here, but again, it's really similar. And to get from 0 to 50%, there's only a minute or so in it, and both these phones charge at 27 watts. So if you're wanting to upgrade your phone this year from the Pixel 8 to 9 for battery life, this might not be the one. There's usually one big reason that people upgrade their phones every year, and it's because you get that improved performance in the cameras. But this year, as you might have now gathered from this video so far, that this again is very similar. The main 50 megapixel camera is the exact same between the two phones, and there isn't an upgrade here, so pictures that you take on either are going to look pretty much the exact same. That's if it's in good sunlight, you're using portrait mode, or you're just taking some photos in low light. There really isn't a difference here, and I haven't tagged which of these photos is which phone yet, so you might be struggling to see which is which, and it was even a little bit difficult when I was putting these together side by side, but now you can see which phone took which photos. There really isn't a difference here. Even the selfie camera has the exact same 10.5 megapixel sensor. There was an upgrade to the ultrawide camera though on the Pixel 9 this year, so it went from the 12 megapixel that we have on the Pixel 8 to a 50 megapixel sensor. And it sounds like a huge jump, but when you look at the photos side by side, I wouldn't say there's a huge difference here. I feel like this does perform ever so slightly better on the Pixel 9 compared to the Pixel 8, but I wouldn't say it is miles ahead, and side by side, they do just look a little bit too similar. When it comes to video, we're in the same boat here. Both of these phones, the Pixel 8 and Pixel 9, will shoot 4K 60 frames a second. And maybe this is a placebo, but I think the Pixel 9 looks ever so slightly better here. And I can't really put my finger on why, but I think that I might be tricking myself that this is a newer phone, so the video looks better. But essentially, they're exactly the same. When it comes to software, both these phones will run Android 15, and of course the Pixel 9 will get 1 year more update than the Pixel 8 just because it's newer, but there are some AI features here that the Pixel 9s will have that the Pixel 8s just won't get. There's things like Add Me in the camera, screenshots, and also Pixel Studio, but honestly, how much would you use these anyway? You do though have everything else that you might need. Gemini Live, Circle to Search, and that new weather app, and all the magic editor goodness that you'd need are baked in to edit those photos. There is just a lot that's similar between the Pixel 8 and Pixel 9, but if you are trying to convince yourself that you need to do that upgrade to the Pixel 9 this year, then maybe that redesign of the Pixel is one of the factors that you might want to consider, because it does feel a bit better personally, I think, than the Pixel 8. You have the ultrasonic fingerprint reader again, which might be enough to tempt you to upgrade, but overall, day to day, you're going to be getting the same experience on both of these phones, and especially when it comes to performance, the Pixel 9 is just not really going to outperform the Pixel 8 here. There is an argument though to say that if you're coming from something older like a Pixel 7, then this actually is a really nice upgrade because you're a couple of generations in terms of Tensor, you are getting that new redesign, you are going to get a little bit more of those AI features baked into the Pixel 9. So I think anything from a Pixel 7 to a 9, I think that's a good upgrade, but paying that full $799 to upgrade from a Pixel 8, I think is a hard ask unless you can find it on offer somewhere or trade in to bring that price down. I'd be more inclined to wait for next year's Pixel 10 before splashing the cash on the Pixel 9. I am interested to hear from anyone in the comments below though who did upgrade from the Pixel 8 to the Pixel 9 this year. What was the reason that you did it? Because like I said, the similarities are really similar in both of these phones. Anyway, before you head off, make sure you subscribe to the Android Authority YouTube channel, and if you do that, then I will see you in the next video.